We're in the city of Perris, out at the Orange Empire Railway Museum. Randy, how long has this place been here?
Well, we actually started in this location in 1958. We're just getting ready to celebrate our 60th anniversary. We started with 10 cars in Travel Town up at Griffith Park. The guys were told they had to move because of a new freeway being built. And after a long search, this is where they wound up. We are a very history-oriented museum, but we're also an operating museum, as you're going to see.
So you started with 10 cars, now you're at 250 cars. Do cars, change in and out throughout the years?
There's been a few that left, but mostly we have everything that's come in is still here. And we're still acquiring cars. Our latest acquisition is one of the original Blue Line cars from 1993. So history hasn't stopped, and we haven't either.
What are we going to be seeing today?
Well, we're going to be looking at 3 different cars. The first is a locomotive, Santa Fe number 108. It's an FP45 built in about 1968. The second one is a railroad post office car. Until the 60s, most of the mail in this country moved across the country by railroad. So we have a fully restored 60-foot railroad post office car, and we'll be taking a look at that on the inside, see how the mail was handled. The last one is a business car built in 1924 that was a sample of what was the executive jets of the railroad age. You'll see it's very beautifully finished, and it was what the railroad executives used to get around.
For people who aren't familiar with where Perris is in California, it's in Riverside County, and I'm just curious, why Perris for this place?
Before the Orange Empire Railway Museum was formed, there were actually 2 different entities that came together out here. One of them had leased an abandoned right-of-way. Where our main line is right here was the right-of-way of the California Southern Railroad, which was an arm of the Santa Fe Railroad. And that railroad ran all the way from Barstow down to National City by San Diego. And completed the Transcontinental Railroad. So at one point there were transcontinental trains running just a few feet from us here.
So is it possible for us to actually take a trip on a car?
We'd love to take you on a ride.
And by the way, I want to make sure I'm saying that correct. Is it a car? Is it an engine? What should I be saying?
Well, we have a locomotive and 2 cars today.
Okay. Should we do it?
Let's go.
All right. Randy, this thing is no joke, man. This is beautiful. What is it?
This was the last passenger locomotive the Santa Fe bought before Amtrak took over passenger service. The engine in the locomotive is a remarkable device. You know, in Southern California, we're real proud of our automotive heritage. We like our 427s and our 440s. The diesel engine in this locomotive is known as a 645, 645 cubic inches per cylinder, and it's a V20.
Oh, V12, okay, see, I get that. A V8 is big, a V12 is bigger, a V20, forget about it, right?
We've got about 13,000 cubic inches right here.
Wow.
3,600 horsepower, carries about 3,200 gallons of fuel.
Wow.
250 gallons of lubricating oil.
Oh my gosh.
And it weighs 360,000 pounds.
This is big, so we're actually going to get to take a ride on it.
Yeah, we're going to go in the rear, walk through, past the engine, and then go into the cab.
Okay, I don't know if you guys can sense how big that engine out here is, because it's vibrating, it's making noises. We're going to walk by it.
Yep.
So this thing was newly restored.
Right.
I mean, was it sitting idle for a long time?
It was a number of years. We had to, for instance, take the turbocharger and send it back east to be rebuilt. That turbocharger weighs just over a ton by itself.
Wow.
So there was the engine was in pretty good shape, but there was a lot of body work that had to be done.
What speed are we going to be at right now? What are we doing?
We'll probably, you can see the speedometer right there.
8. Oh, 8. So we have the miles per hour right there. So we're going 8 miles per hour. Is this your tracks? Is
Yes.
it part of the museum? Okay.
Yes.
So we don't have to worry about any other traffic.
No, at the moment, we're not connected to the main line. We expect to be again, we have been for years, but with Metrolink coming to Perris, they had to take out our connection and we're not reconnected yet.
Okay. When people come out here to the Orange Railway Museum, can they do this as well?
They can. We operate trains and trolleys on the weekend, and they go exactly where we're going.
How many of these engines are left in the world?
Well, this particular kind, this may be the only one left that's operating.
Wow.
There may be one other one.
Okay.
But that's kind of why we do this.
Yeah.
A lot of them, these locomotives, when they're taken out of service, they're scrapped. They're not needed anymore, or they get rebuilt into something different.
Randy, this is cool. Where are we right now?
Well, we're in Railroad Post Office car number 60. This is a 60-foot railroad post office car built in the 1920s and operated until 1967.
Wow.
And there were 4,000 of these cars, about 30,000 railroad post office employees, and this car would have had 10 or 11 people working in it, and every one of them would have been armed. These mail trains would move up to 300 tons of mail a day. And in particular, this one ran from Los Angeles to Chicago, and one crew would work between Los Angeles Union Station and Ash Fork, Arizona, and then they would switch.
This looks like a post office.
This is a post office.
It is a post office.
This is where the mail would be all broken up into the various sacks, and they would pick up mail along the way.
How would it end up here?
Well, in Los Angeles, they would have truckloads of mail come in to Union Station. It would go into the storage cars, 2 of them for the mail to be sorted between here and Ash Fork, and then the other 2 would be beyond Ash Fork. As they passed through hundreds of small towns across the country, they didn't have time to stop at all these little towns. To pick up the mail, there was a device next to the tracks where the mail bag would be hung, and then as the train went by, they would open the door and a hook would be lifted up, and they would snag the mail as they went by.
So they really weren't even stopping. Like you said, they just kept going.
And if they had mail to drop off, that's exactly what they did. They dropped it out the door.
I got some bad news for you. It appears that many people have not received their mail.
Yeah, well,
and this is a lot of the same person too, so. We're in luxury like you've never seen it before, except if you were around in the 1920s, right?
That's right.
Dave, what are we standing in?
We're standing in Mount Rubidoux, which was part of the Sioux Line Railroad. There was 3 cars like this. They were built in 1927, thereabouts. They were private business cars. One man occupied this car. When it went out, he had a porter and a cook with him. It's all original, nothing's been restored in this car. You had 18 of these annunciator buttons. They're all over the car.
Oh yeah, okay.
18 of them. If you wanted anything, you push the button.
Can we walk through the car here?
You bet we can. This is the dining room.
Nice.
And so as the general manager is traveling, he would have people in for dinner. There's more annunciators on the wall, one there, one on the other side, and one at the end of the table here. Oh, wow. He could have 8 guests.
Wow, there's the kitchen. Oh my goodness! Did all these food items come with this as well? Or did
no, we think they've kind of
props.
They found a new home, and
I bet you this kitchen got hot.
You bet.
Randy, there are so many things to see here. I mean, there's no way we could pack it all in this segment. What are the hours of operation here?
We're open 9 to 5, 363 days a year.
363.
We're closed on Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day. There's a small fee to ride trains and trolleys all day, and of course the grounds are always free.
So just to come out here on the grounds, you can walk around for free, huh?
Nice to come out. We have 2 nice parks. You can have a picnic, the kids can play. A lot to do.
We need more time here.
Yes, you do.
Oh my goodness. Well, Randy, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Glad to help.
I'm gonna take the next trolley out of here.
All right.
Oh, you're joining me. All right, that's cool with me.